Okay guys, we came up to a pretty important chapter that called openings. So be good students, be attentive. Let's go! Openings. I commonly hear from players that some spawns are better than others, particularly on certain maps. There is some truth to this, but what is more important are the choices you make from your starting location. I refer to this series of choices as openings. To those who are familiar with chess, you will already have some idea of what an opening is designed to achieve, but for those who have never heard the term before, there is a basic explanation. An opening is a series of action of maneuvers taken in order to achieve a strategic or tactical advantage. Openings are one of the most important aspects of duel. They set the tone of the game and establish your position in terms of control. Your opening should not only be determined by where you spawn, but also where your opponent spawns. As a dueler, you should develop openings from every possible spawn on any given map. It can take months or even years to truly develop comprehensive and efficient openings, and usually involves a lot of analysis and trial and error. Here is an example of an opening for the edge. 1 second, guy. Okay. Contender, blue, spawns at water in front of the steams. The first thing any player should do when spawning in this location is head up the stairs towards the mega health room. Sound cues become very important at this point because it determines whether one enters the room or retreats towards the super shotgun. This decision is made by listening out to where the opponent spawned. If they have spawned at super shotgun or in the mega health room, then you should retreat towards the super shotgun area. Yes, despite it being taken. If your opponent spawns above chain gun or in front of the grenades in the room, then some players might be tempted to steal the mega health or yellow armor and escape without receiving too much damage. This is a risky move and will usually fail against most seasoned players. It also burns valuable time, which is important in the first 20 seconds of the match. In this scenario, the contender does not hear the opponent racing from the super shotgun, picking up the chain gun, or charging from the top rocket launcher, so they enter the room. There is also the possibility that they both spawn by the water. In this case, it becomes a race to the room where the trade-off between the chain gun or the armor and mega health taken place. If executed cleanly, then taking the armor and mega health is more beneficial and gives an advantage. If not performed cleanly, then the contender should always prioritize the mega health over the armor. The armor respawns every 20 seconds, but the mega health will not respawn until the health hits 100. And this is something the contender has control over. Opponent red has spawned by the shotgun. Let me show you. Okay, here it is. Spawns by the shotgun. The first thing the opponent does is head towards the lift. This is general common sense, because from this position they have access to the choice of two main weapons, rocket launcher and super shotgun. The top of the lift is also a fortified position which gives access to a grey armor, and the arena yellow, which is a short drop. In this scenario, the opponent grabs the machine gun, which is inefficient because it burns time, and heads up the lift to take the chain gun before the contender. This strategy is possible, but it is much less likely when spawning by the shotgun. It would have much higher success rate if the opponent spawned next to the lift. Remember, time is vital in the early game. Every second counts. So the opponent is taking a gamble right from the get-go. However, this depends largely on where the contender spawns. It should become clear that many variables are involved in calculating and weighting up your decision during an opening. There are many options available, and if not executed efficiently, your strategy can change simply from stumbling on a step, missing a jump, or hitting a wall. This is where mechanical skill and refinement applies to duel. However, we are focusing on what to do rather than the actual doing. Contender? Okay, wait a second. Okay. Contender Blue has entered the Mega Health room. The priority would be to collect the chain gun. The reason behind this logic boils down to tactical safety. Since the contender did not hear the opponents approaching from the super shotgun or the top rocket launcher, then they must assume that their opponent spawned near the bottom rocket launcher. Taking the chain gun first prevents the contender from being trapped under the stairs by the opponent. A rocket launcher is a strong close-range weapon and, if used properly, can easily overpower the contender in that area. The opponent would also have a height and armor advantage in that situation, so collecting the chain gun must be executed cleanly and quickly. Wait a second. Wait a second. Okay. But what is more important is the decision whether you collect it or not. This is where sound cues become vital to decision making. As you approach the steps, if you hear your opponent at the top of the lift, then you do not go for the chain gun. It should now become clear why the opponent's success rate to claim the chain gun diminishes depending on whether they spawn by the shotgun or next to the lift. In this situation, you abandon the chain gun and collect the armor. Wait a second. Okay, so we taking armor and collecting armor and the mega health. Then retreat from the room using the water exit, and as seen in the picture above. Let's watch this picture. Yeah, here it is. You perform a similar action if your opponent spawns at the top rocket launcher. In this scenario, you would take the yellow armor and then retreat towards the lift or the arena, depending on whether you are able to make the jump from the backpack to the armor. This maneuver is faster and safer because it results in a clean escape. It is possible for your opponent to hit you with a rocket as you retreat to the arena if you travel all the way over the steps to jump up there. armor crate. Again, it boils down to clear execution. Wait a second. Oh. Okay. Opponent, red, takes the chain gun and charges into the mega health room. There is no armor or mega health to collect, which removes the ability to pursue the contender or be aggressive at close range. The opponent has 3 strategical viable options. The first would be to attack into the super shotgun via the arena. This is risky and favors the contender tactically. There are 2 reasons it will fail. 1, because the contender has more health and armor, and 2, because the super shotgun area is enclosed with lots of corners, which forces the opponent to fight at close range. The second choice would be to collect the yellow armor in the arena. This is a viable strategy depending on whether you feel comfortable attacking into the mega health room. The reason for this boils down to a simple maneuver. On the contender's behalf, as soon as the opponent goes to the arena armor, the contender will backtrack past the water into the mega health room. This allows them to collect the room armor again once it spawns uncontested, and set up a defensive position on top of the crate, a positional advantage. The third option would be to simply wait in mega health room for the armor to respawn. This decision might seem like the least viable out of the 3, but it is the most efficient and effective. The reason for this is that you have a chain gun and the mega health. Room, which allow you to pressure the arena armor while having the option to collect the room armor uncontested. The contender will not attempt to attack into the mega health from super shotgun if the opponent remains in the room, because the walkways are a bottleneck, which means they are death traps against the chain gun. A rocket launcher would be required to force the opponent away from the doors to perform such a task. So now that the opponent can pressure the arena armor and wait for the room armor, the contender has little choice but to go for the rocket launcher. Contender, blue, exits the mega health room and heads towards the super shotgun. 1 second. Okay. It is important to pick up the 3 bullets, packs and road because it reduces the opponent's combat capabilities. The chain gun runs out of ammo extremely quickly, and ammo management is strategically vital in the early game, especially when you are limited to 1 weapon. If the opponent was to charge out from under the stairs, guns blazing, then they would waste a good 40 to 50% of their bullets, with no viable way to obtain more. The closest bullet packs besides the 3 but by the water would be down by the lift or in the sewer, and that would mean giving up your position. Don't worry if you miss one of the bullet packs. If you go back to collect it, then you waste time and if your opponent does take the option of attacking into the super shotgun, then it increases the likelihood of him coming out victorious. Remember that the contender doesn't have any weapons for defense, so if the opponent decides to attack, then the outcome depends on how quickly you are able to collect the super shotgun. That concludes this analysis. There are many openings for every map, some more sophisticated than others. As a dueler, it is your responsibility to analyze and refine openings in order to gain strategic and tactical advantages. There are many maps in Quake 2 which are still highly undeveloped in terms of strategy, so there is plenty of opportunities to practice forging your own openings and dominate. Okay, that's it.